3d6 down the line.
Okay, that was episode 87 in the books. Well done, guys. Another momentous milestone that you guys have made with the recitation of the Litany of Light.
So now I need to arrange, like Ted, of not being here next week for the monkey apocalypse, because that's what's coming.
All I'm saying is we got bamboozled by John into doing the suicide ceremony.
How did I bamboozle the suicide? What do you mean?
Into turning off the one thing that was keeping us alive down here.
Oh well, you guys had correctly guessed that was likely what happened, but you did it anyway.
We went for it. I know.
We got this, but now we know. Like, we can come back here anytime. Like, I mean, it sounds like our next move, really, right? Wolford with the belt, he's strong enough to get the disco ball himself, right? It's dark anyway. He's strong enough. He can go grab it. He's invisible. You guys can book it.
Where is Trefko?
He's back in Garland's chamber.
Trefko in the quarters? Because that's bad.
He's about to get wrecked by those baboons.
We can save him somehow.
That's very hopeful.
Remember when I was like, "Are you sure we don't want to kill these guys before we leave? Because Trefko might be in trouble."
I'm wondering if the better part of valor is to try and go to the next station of the cross and try and kick this whole thing on again.
Try it.
The first station, like try to restart it.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. But it says several minutes. We had to do the thing for several minutes to try to get it to go.
Well, here's the thing that we don't know because we're not viewing it right now. Did this thing blot out the fucking sun? You know what I mean? Or like, it's one thing for the magic around the lens to operate in some fashion, but like occluding the light just coming naturally through the well from the sun is like a strange phenomenon. Without looking, I don't know what.
It could be a door. It could be
it's true. It could just be like
we heard some sort of
in a fireplace
chunk, didn't we? We heard a mechanical sound.
Yeah, it does seem to me that the procedure is aimed at a single person, not multiple, because you're going invisible, you're turning out the lights, you're getting infravision, and you're getting true seeing. So it's allowing you to be like silent and hyper perceptive, right? So like, but
silent and deadly.
And keep in mind too, like, you know, for dramatic. Well, we were at the end of the session, but we cut like right after the darkness descended.
So for all we know, it's going to kick back on in a second or whatever. But I still think the better part of valor is to run to the next, section and try and restart it. You know,
the only problem is it says you chant it for several minutes on the first section.
Yeah, we'll get eaten up by.
So it's not like a quick guy. Yeah, it's not a quick guy.
I think the play here is we grab the disco ball, maybe or maybe not. Somebody runs down to grab Trefko, but we grab the disco ball and we beat it. We get out because now we know how to do this. We come in here invisible, right? And we can set it up during the day when they're sleeping anyway. They don't like it out here and during the daytime anyway. We come back in here invisible during the day and we repeat.
But again, this presumes that there isn't. I agree. But like what Mike said, if it is like a physical block, like if the well is closed now because of like stone, like a doorway, and the light's never coming back, unless on some timer it reopens. I mean, I don't know. That's the thing. We got to I think we should see as best we can what's.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be easy it'll be easy to see when we come back. If there's light shining down the thing, you can see that from the end of the hall that we can get to. Yeah, we'll be able to tell.
I honestly think that there's got to be a way to drive the monkeys out of this level and keep them out of this level. I think there's got to be a way to do that. I think maybe there's a physical barrier between, because it's been done before. The last time Garland left the area to go treat with the Setites, he pushed all the baboons out of the area, right? And just left sad Trefko to like wander around and police the area, right? So there's got to be a physical way to send them out and then keep them out. And that, I think, is how we capture this level. If we want to capture this level, we've kind of looted the shit out of it at this point. We could almost like, except for going through the area to get to other areas, we've robbed the libraries. The throne and the God phone are the only two things of interest in this area that we've really kind of found.
Well, and the Hall of Heroes and the alien ship crash,
which we can get
You don't
to,
have to go
but
through
not,
here to get
by
that.
not going to
no,
Monkey Town.
of course. And the evil box. Yeah, no, I agree that we've like looted the library. I think, we should do things that are interesting to us and not dwell on Plungertown for the entire campaign, probably.
Yeah, we gotta get out of here.
But
the time it's going to be really tempting to come back is when we get those 3 other secret names of Thoth, because obviously they weren't the right ones, or I wasn't. When I said the 4 out of the 7 and nothing happened, that probably meant that they were waiting for 3 more, or they just didn't hear the right one.
If only you had some books that were related to the Church of Thoth and how it operates and all that kind of stuff.
Well, you have time to read, John.
Did the circlet not detect magic on the throne?
Oh, he said it was really super magical. Yeah.
Does it detect magic?
I'm asking. I missed that part. I was probably dealing with my.
It doesn't. I can detect magic, but I didn't offer that as an option.
True Seeing does detect magic. True Seeing detects magical auras.
Oh, it does? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Does it?
Yeah.
Do we know that for a fact? Or is it just
You might just pull that out of nowhere trying to get something for free.
It always has. It always has.
You could be right. You could be right. I'm just let's see.
Well, yeah, this is like, God, man, this is what's so hard though.
Where is True Seeing?
For the book thing, like our ability to successfully engage with most of this dungeon requires more time than we have. It's seemingly like ever, because there's so much shit. There's so much shit that's going wrong so often. There's just constantly clocks expiring that are just like sitting down and reading a book just so we don't fuck up the litany of light or whatever, right? Like, as a problem, but we didn't. But you know what I mean? Like, it's I just don't know how.
It's hard. It's just like, you got to make, you got to do what you got to do. Anyways, you were right, Mike. Enchanted objects and creatures are made apparent with True Seeing. So,
right.
So the Ruby Throne, Upior, was enchanted. Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, look, the God Phone will give us some secret names if we ask it. It just might cause irreparable psychic damage. But
also, we have books. We can just crack a book.
Yeah. But I think the basic thing, regardless of like loot to be had here, that is thematically all over the place, is that it's a resource for knowledge. Right? We have a library, we have a phone to God, we have all these things, and so whatever negative space still exists on the dungeon, there could be another God Phone. Like, I don't know, and that's the thing. Is until we can actually stabilize this place, the apes prevent us from ever having resolution on this. It's just, and if the disco ball is useless every evening, there's just no way to stabilize it.
If it wasn't clear, something happened. Something happened after you did the third recitation that changed the state of the well of light.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah. But you didn't go into the well of light and investigate exactly what that was. Right, so just be aware.
Well, I guess I was worried that interrupting the process might also have repercussions, right?
Totally fair. Yeah. Mm. Your reasoning was totally sound, and I don't begrudge. I don't think it was necessarily foolish to do the final one. But yeah, it kind of struck back at you there.
Yeah, I really think that this seems to be, as long as we don't leave the disco ball there, it's repeatable. Like, our strategy for putting the disco ball in place last time was perfect, right? Mort was strong enough. He could see in the dark. He could go there invisible and set it up at midday when there aren't that many people or, many baboons there in the center anyway. Boom, it turns on, it shoos everybody out, and we can do that again if we need to, right? Like, if we want to come back here and we got other stuff to do that's super cool. When it's time to come back and do this, we can, rinse and repeat to do that. Saving Trefko might be, we might have to split next time if we decide that it's worth it. Maybe they aren't going to be mean to him. I don't know. Maybe they like him.
I mean,
well, his biggest rival is gone. His biggest rival's gone, right?
Right.
Well, yeah. Maybe he'll engage more peacefully with. I mean, that's what I was trying to do when I was trying to talk to them, because I didn't want to. Actually, rather than wanting to kill them initially, wanted to see if we could. And we talked about this on our Discord. Position or start seeding the idea that Trefko could barter peace with them, so that this isn't something that like complicates our lives constantly, and that we can bring stability to it. It's just hard, man. Like I'll be honest. It feels like, as much as we don't want to just murder Hobar away through every scenario, it seems like it's really hard to repeatedly try to avoid that and have it fucking whip our ass. Right? Like it's almost like a 2 steps backward for everyone forward, to the point where it's like, should we just be fucking killing everyone indiscriminately? Because how do we actually realistically in any time frame make Plungertown usable to us? Like, it's what we're discussing even right now is like several sessions. I think. I don't think it's easy.
No.
And that's the difficulty. It's like, should we have just killed them right then while they're weak?
Well, the other thing that we have in our arsenal, and we can do it a few different ways, right? Is the stone shape spell. Like, we know that there are just a few ways in. From, that secret door, we know that little narrow hallway. We can seal that up, right? Lisbeth can learn, stone shape. Upior can learn stone shape. Even though we just have one scroll, we can, have 2 casters that can seal, like pinch that area closed, and then. But the question is, again, like, do we want to? Do we need to? There's enough of this other stuff in the dungeon. We could leave this for a while now and come back to it when we have more info.
I was actually going to bring that up. It's like, and I'm obviously down for whatever you guys want to do. But you should really ask yourselves, like, what do you really want Plungertown for? Will it actually further your goals? Or is it just sort of like a notch on your belt saying like, yep, that level's ours now? You know what I mean? You've got all these other sort of, all these other things going on, all these really cool ideas about using like the Lost Chamber, the Chamber of Arden, the Secret Cult of Arden for a base, that kind of thing. I'm not even going to go through all this stuff, but you're well aware of it. You should also realize too that you've made massive progress with the goblins, and you had made big progress with the beastmen before you kind of stepped in it with Neferet. But so it's not like you're not making progress. Like, you're doing a lot of really cool things. You're shaking things up. But you have to realize too that this level and the things that are on this level are not working with the same sort of normal. Right. It's very difficult to negotiate with these guys, because without Garelad there's no like foundation of like of diplomacy or you know what I mean?
Yeah, but there never was. We were tortured, and he was killing everyone he could.
Correct.
Right? Like,
yes,
there wasn't
exactly.
a stable state to begin.
Exactly. He's something's wrong with that dude, right? Like,
yeah,
and
this is
And there's these savage baboons that never fucking let up. But what's really cool, the progress that you made, is you found their really big weakness. You found it and you did it, which is really fucking cool, So you should take pride in that, just in case you're getting down on yourselves about the level,
No, it's just the challenge. Like, the thing is, like, I don't think Plungertown is a notch. What Plungertown thematically is doing is repeating to me as a player since the beginning, right? Even the apes, because like the theme of the apes collaborating with the humans from the start is that there should be a way that the players can make good with the apes. And without us having the knowledge of how to do that, right, the apes are just savage enemies, right? And that's really tough, because knowledge is the theme of the floor. It's like, find the secret knowledge, find the secret knowledge, find the secret knowledge, find the secret knowledge, find the secret. And so, like, we're trying to find that, right? Like, that is the provocation of the floor, whether it be the God Phone or the library or the Well of Light and the invocations, or the Hall of Heroes or the Ruby Throne. These are all things that are very, very provocative to like a deeper thing than, say, a zombie room in the debouchement, right? But the reality is, like, it's just really tough, because like, yeah, we're making progress, but like we biffed the Beastman thing. We didn't really, but like, because we were in Gostrick, because we needed to go to Gostrick and do stuff. So like what I'm talking about with the time thing is like the balance we're dealing with is like we want to engage with certain mechanics, whether we had to go to Gosford to do them or not, right? To access whether we can use our magic items or whatever, like basic functionality stuff. But in so doing, because of the sheer scale of things, our gains are slip, right? And obviously the Nephrite thing was a big part of that too, but it's just really hard to juggle is all I'm getting at. It's just hard.
But here's the thing that's killing me about it right now. And David, I think to your point, the thing to remember is we didn't actually biff shit with the beast bed.
No,
but things just happened, and they're always fun. So it's kind of like if we had gone on vacation to Gosterwick and hung out for a month. Picture what the time frame would have been like when we came back. We would have come back and found the goblins like having a huge party,
of course,
in Beastman Town, and being like, "Oh, you guys missed it? They're all dead." Yeah, no, it wasn't us, I swear. And we'd be like, you know what I'm saying? Things would have progressed, and it would have been like amazeballs. And I honestly, here's for me what I want to do with Plungertown. I don't want it for ourselves, John, and I don't want it for a notch on our belt, although getting rid of Garlad is like a big for me. It's giving it to the goblins. Makes the king happy, gives them more territory, and then expands our area of safety, correct? Like, I mean, let them deal with getting rid of the monkeys. And so if we had this mechanism in place where for at least, 10 to 12 hours a day, they could shore up their defenses and do all the rest of that, then maybe we could actually turn this over to them and keep the secret for us, but still have access to it,
Yeah, no, and I think it's a great bargaining chip, and I agree with you. Whether we give it to the goblins or just in general, I think I would add though, like what's great about what the goblin piece in the debouchement provides for us beyond, and like I said, biffed it earlier, by the way. No, everything's fun, obviously, but what it provides is like a sufficient stability, so literally we can, aside from some random rolls, traverse through it smoothly and quickly on a functional sense. We, as 4 players at a table, don't spend an hour beat by beating. And the trap of Plungertown for us has been because because of the apes, we never get to a place where any of the rooms can be moved through quickly. Yeah. And so we always kind of reset to a 0 point every time we go to Plungertown, which is why every time we go, we think we're going to finally achieve a clearance state, and then we can't, right? We always retreat in a panic and do it again. And that doesn't mean we're failing. It just means like Plungertown as like a time puzzle is no better today than it was when we started.
Well,
right.
I might disagree there, is because it's a puzzle that if we need it, we know the answer to. I mean, I think the point that we've reached right now is knowing with Garlad not in there right now, right? Like let's face it, like he was one of the reasons why we wanted to go there, because we hate the guy. He's a foil for us. He took our stuff. He's mean. Sure. We want to get, as players, we want to get the mean guy. He was mean to us. We want to be mean back, but he's not there now, right? He's gone. Maybe he's with the Sethites. Maybe the Sethites took him, right? There's, that's a distinct possibility. And we're at this point now where we can decide whether or not we want to go back to the the Plungertown level, because if we need it, we know what to do to get there. Right.
Yeah, this whole session, was a free roaming session. It was the first time you were actually able to free roam through the thing. So yeah, and I should point out too, is just so you make sure that you're aware of everything that Garlad. Garlad is irritated specifically at you. As far as you know, he's not really mad at anybody else, but he's really pissed at the AV Club. And remember that his whole thing is isolationism, right?
Right.
He wants to be left the fuck alone, right? That's everything that you've seen so far. That's been his modus operandi. You went through the whole Druid's retreat. When he found out that Druid's retreat was compromised, and not only the retreat, but you were able to actually get in other ways. Because remember, he set up like guards in front of like the exit, right? You were constantly irritating me. He's like, how are they keep appearing on my level, which I thought I had locked down, right? Mm-hmm. And only these dudes keep coming into my level and fucking around with me, right? And so he obviously went out to the Setites, right? Try to work something out. You don't know how that went down. You know, you have pretty good ideas of how that may have gone down thanks to your clever thinking. But so when you confirmed this session that it appears that he has left the level, right? Or he has, given up what he used to have. You can draw your conclusions about why he did that, right? Because what he wants to do is be left alone, and you guys are not leaving him alone, right?
Yeah. Well, in fairness, so far as we know that we've mined it already, like this floor is the key to most of the dungeon. So leaving it alone is like intrinsically in opposition with our success in the dungeon, which is my point about Plungertown. We exponentially complicate our exploration on other floors, not having the resources we got from Plungertown. It's an accelerant, right? Mm-hmm. So like getting all of those resources is a high priority, right? And though we can go to other, and I think we maybe, to Mike's point, have gotten all of them. But theoretically speaking, that's why returning is so important, because we could have gone to 12 different floors and mucked around, but we wouldn't have had like blue tile sequences. We wouldn't have known about, I mean, there's so much that is just like, it's dozens of episodes more of just figuring it out without that info. And eventually we would have had to come back because some things are purely informational keys, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like Plungertown is the single most, in our experience so far, important level in the game, which is why we're so fixated on it. We also hate Garrelad, right? But that becomes an incredible challenge because we have a guy who's more powerful than us and has an army that says no. You know,
I think
it's tough, man.
I mean, I'm on the other side of the screen, so obviously I just love it. Yeah. But I think it's like a really, really expertly set up challenge and obstacle on like a macro level. I think it was really, really well done. And I think it's like the thematic thing, like you were talking about, David, where the level is obviously like the more upper echelon of the Thoth priesthoods, like all the secrets and all that kind of stuff, like only the high priest sort of access here, that it's now in the contemporary times guarded by a savage faction, right? Like, of just absolute savagery. Even the leader themselves is like a crazy druid, I think it's really cool and appropriate, it's, like the most refined, rarefied errors of Thothian lore is now guarded by like the most savage, it's cool.
Well, and the other thing is too is we keep accidentally wandering into here, like the whole like gladiator school, tunnels underground. Where do we end up? Fucking Monkey Town. It's like God damn.
Because the designer wants us to go to Monkey Town. Like it is pushing you in that direction in a lot of ways. So this is a central conflict in my interpretation of what we've seen so far of the entire dungeon. Like it couldn't be constructed in this way without that being an intention. In other words, it's not arbitrary. It's not like something we're projecting into it. It's something we are picking up on and responding to over and over and over again.
Right.
So it's like, when we were making our choices along the way, but like they're very, very conditional choices, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you could have so easily have not gone to the level just by turning left when you could have turned right. You know what I mean? Like there's, we would have to ask Richard about it, like if there is that sort of funneling towards the level at some given point. But if you kind of make a look at like the choices you made to get here, you made like really interesting off the wall choices to do it. Like the plunger got you here.
Sure.
Like you didn't walk into the level, right?
Right.
The druid's retreat, the druid's retreat was only because you came from the where the gladiator school. Is that where you
gladiator school?
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just
I mean, like
I thought as I was experiencing you make the choices that it was funny and ironic that you kept on ending up in Plungertown. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I can't believe they're going in this direction. Like they're going to end up right back in that fucking place again. You know what I mean?
And I hear you. I disagree. I think. I mean, I hear you. I'm not saying it's like it's not like such a strong funnel is the only place anyone would go. But like, you have an exterior entrance that is a big location that's going to attract players, right? You have a staircase from if people go through the main entrance of the dungeon and hit the debouche, one of the first stairwells they'll find will take them to Plungertown. Also, there's a giant spectacular pyramid that's magical and interesting looking that people are going to want to poke at. It takes them to Plungertown, right? Like there's several avenues that engage with that. And then also, as we discussed, like Plungertown as an information key is just like invaluable Never mind, like the book to learn Mythric. Like so much of like the ciphers and gates, physical or otherwise, are solved through the library, right?
Yeah,
Right.
no, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Nefret's tomb, the note says go to the secret library, right? Like,
Oh my God.
you know, it's saying secret library, secret library, secret library. So, you know, I mean, like it's a recurrent theme. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
I'm just going to drop this before we end the detox here. You don't know how much of that is actually in the book and how much I actually fucking put in there myself.
That's true. That's true. Fair. Very fair. Very fair. John's just been trolling us this entire time.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to make him go back.
There's been a little bit of trolling, I'll admit, but I'm never going to give that up until we actually finish the campaign.
I'm sure.
We're gonna finish the campaign, John. I'm gonna be fucking like calling in from my like wheelchair.